uh, everything we need to know about XPath and Selectors Hub. That's what we are going to learn today. What is XPath? I hope like you all must be knowing about the like regular definitions, the book definition, and we can do it Google. In general terms, if I talk, so basically like in today's session, I will be talking more of the general things, not the theoretical things which we read in books and all. I will try to explain you guys through from the like industry perspective and what we work every day, actual practice basically. So in general terms, what is XPath or any kind of, or any selectors? It is like address of a place. Like on the globe, every place has its own address, right? Similarly, in the web page, like in any web page, every element, like on google.com, if we have to click on this Google search, this has its own address. So basically what that address is called in technical term, in software web development terms, is that XPath or selectors, we call that. Now, what is the importance of XPath or selectors? It is as important as the tires of car. Like your car can't run for long if your tires are not good, your vehicle will not be able to run. Similarly, if we don't have good selectors strategy, if we have not written good selectors, good XPath, then our script will not execute for long. Maybe like just once you would be able to execute your script, and tomorrow if you will execute your script, then it will fail. So we have to make sure that our selectors, the stepney is really good we have at all the times, so that it lasts for long and we need not to maintain again and again. Like in formula race car, you see that just 10 minutes that car runs and then immediately they have to change the tires, right? So we have to make sure that we have that strong selector, that robust selector, that we need not to change it again and again. So that's how it is important, that important role selectors plays in our automation script, web automation script. What are the types of XPath, the patterns? We all know that there are 8 types of selectors. So apart from, out of that 8 types of selectors, 2 types we have to write. Rest 6 are like we can, if those are available with the selectors, with the web element, then that we can directly copy and take them, like name, ID, class name, link text, partial link text. So those we can directly take. Only thing like complex things comes with XPath and CSS selectors. What are the formulas? What are the patterns we can write for XPath? XPath, there are n number of functions. In fact, like one cannot, like not me or anyone, I believe, would be able to tell you that what all functions are there in XPath and what all patterns are there. There could be n number of functions. There are n number of functions, not could be. Like // tag name at the rate, few I have listed here, // tag name. This is the very standard formula which people used to write. So these all are looks like relative one. There are absolute one as well. So I hope you can read this. I'm not going to read all these. So those who are, I believe like you have seen this, // tag name at the rate attribute is name is equal to attribute value, and few might have seen that // one, right? So when we use // and then using index, those are kind of like absolute XPath we write, but those are not ever suggested to write those kind of characters because they are very fragile and they broke immediately. Now, before starting going into that, like what how we write the selectors, let me explain a very basic funda of writing XPath. There is a // and // so people ask like what is the difference between // and // // is like coming down through stairs one by one. Like here on the web page, if you see here, like if I like right click and click on inspect element, and if we have to come to this A, then we start from here, basically HTML head body. So if we start writing like this way, that single forward slash body, then single forward slash div. This is basically single forward slash coming one by one, one, then this, then this, then this, then this, likewise one by one. So it is like coming one by one through stairs, and it will take a lot of time, and it will make your process slow. While double forward slash is like directly sliding from the top to that particular element. So if we would have written here double forward slash a, it will directly jump from that to first a wherever it will match, like this. So that is the difference between single forward slash and double forward slash. Like we need to come one by one, directly jump to that matching element. Then CSS selectors. There are again so many formulas to write a CSS selector. Depends on what kind of attributes are available in that particular web element which you have inspected. So if ID is available, we can write hashtag ID, hashtag, and then this is ID value dot class. If class value is there, then we can write like suppose if you have inspected any element here, and if that element has the class, then we can write dot class. This is the way that we can write the CSS selector, one way. Likewise, there are other formulas: tag name, attribute name is equal to attribute values. So these are the formulas. Don't worry about this. I will be sharing the presentation at the end of the session, so you can keep it with you, and whenever you want, you can refer it. Now, the question comes like how we write the selectors. So if you see that in this any page on web page, we inspect the element and immediately we do the command F, right, like this way. So here if you see, suppose if we have to write an XPath for this element selector sub here, how do we do that? We will inspect this element. This zoom is very annoying. Okay, so we will inspect this element and we do command F, because this is very habitual, and we are very much habitual of doing this thing. And we start typing double forward slash a, but as soon as we type, you see that it goes up and down. Then this is not the element for which we want to write XPath, right? Again, we will have to inspect this element. Now I'm showing you guys how we write the XPath. So here we will type open a square bracket, and here you can see we can use some of the attribute, or we take the text value. So here we will have to use our presence of mind and intelligence that which value could be static to write a stable XPath or CSS selector. So these attributes not look like that unique, but selectors of this text looks like very unique. So what we used to do, we used to copy this value. We can use try with other attributes value as well, not a problem. There could be a multiple ways to write one XPath for any element. Now here there's a junk space. So again, we will have to remove this space manually. And still it is showing 0 of 0. Similarly, like for any element, if we have to do same kind of steps will be there, like we will be doing command F and then all. So here you see that it is something like we are writing XPath, we are writing code in Notepad when we have smart editor like IntelliJ, like typing text and then copying the value one by one. It used to take a lot of time, and in fact, like in some cases, it used to take a week of sorry, 2-3 minutes of time. It is something like this. Suppose you have to write a command like system.out.println, and we have to type this. I have typed here on Notepad. This is text. If I have typed the same command here on IntelliJ, how fast it will be, because it used to suggest me that auto drop down, right? So can't we have something similar for our selectors, like when we write, which can save a lot of time? So yes, we have this new reality selectors of which made it possible to write selectors XPath in 5 seconds. Why I'm saying emphasizing on this much, because we always say that we should write our own XPath. Can you imagine writing a class file or one test case in Notepad, how much time it will take? Like if you have to type that public static void command here, will you be able to type that command? And will you be able to write one test case on Notepad just like in 1 minute as you can do it in IntelliJ? Because smart editor is used to give you auto suggestion, you quickly finish that. Like when you start typing driver.find element command, you used to get those drop down values and you quickly finish it. But if you have to type that command, that used to take a lot of time. Like if you have to completely type that command. So it depends on like how fast you type and how much you remember. So see, same thing, how fast we can do it on selector sub. If we have to write XPath for this element, so for now, this is the default view which will open when you open selector sub. Let's for now keep it off. We have to write an XPath for this element. Suppose this element. You just inspect this element and start typing. You see that it gives the auto suggest like in smart IntelliJ. So here you get all the information. Like there are H3, 4 H3 are there. This is, it's telling the number of occurrences of this. You can select this, and as soon as you type, you get all those options here possible, and you can select, and there you go. So this is how you can quickly build. And now you see how fast it will be. Not even like hardly 2-3 seconds it will take. You see how fast it will be. And from here, not just this, you would be able to understand, you would be able to learn what all functions are possible here. Like when you're typing here, you see it gives you all possible options for learning. Like it's telling you with dot function. Now, as I told you in the beginning, that there are n number of functions. It is really hard for someone to remember all those functions. Even I can't tell you that what all possible selector for this, what all XPath functions are possible for this function. So here you see that it's telling you all the possible functions along with their occurrences. So you would be able to learn from this, because in many interviewer asks such questions like how many functions are possible for this XPath? Can you write me some different kinds of pattern for this element which you can write for XPath? So dot is there, contains text is possible, normalize space is possible, starts with text is possible, text is possible. So what all functions could be possible, and then along with their occurrences, and what is not possible as well, it used to show. Like for an example, if you inspect this element, the one for which we have written here, now if you see that it will show you all the occurrences along with the zero matching node as well. So suppose zero matching nodes, why is showing zero matching node? In many a times it happened in interview, and from learning perspective, we could thought like why this is not possible for this element, why this is not possible. So it tells you that for this it has the zero matching node, so that is the reason that you cannot write this one, this selector, this selector, this one. So in interviewer asked that these questions, is it possible, like if I have written, suppose in Notepad he has given you this, that contains text selector sub, is it will it be possible for this? And for a second you might think that yes, it could be possible, but actually it is not possible. This is a zero matching node. So you would be able to learn those things from here, and it will be really fast to build your own XPath and CSS selectors. So, and then a question comes like, how can we write the uh, access based selectors? Like if we have to write the XPath with respect to some element, because that is the most frequently written XPath pattern we used to write. So, and now you see that how fast it will be to writing the XPath for some element with respect to some other element. For an example, we have to write an XPath for forum with respect to blog. So what we have to see here, let me first uh, tell you the concept, how there could be multiple concept, by the way, to write XPath with respect to some other element. One I'm telling you, suppose we have to write an XPath for forum with respect to blog. How we will do that first? My approach will be, first I will write an XPath for blog, then I will try to find the common parent for both the elements. Then from that parent, I will jump to this forum. So let's see. The question is, we have to write the XPath for forum with respect to blog. First, I will write the XPath for blog. So how we do that? double forward slash A here. So first we will inspect that element, you see, and it will give the auto suggest for that element which you have inspected here. So this is the XPath for blog we have written. Now from this we have to figure out that which is the common parent. So this, no, this. So you see that under this parent, both the elements are highlighting, the one which for which we have to write the XPath and the other one with respect to which we have to write. Okay, so we click on this or this was the element basically. So here you type single forward slash and you see that this is the ancestor, this UL is the ancestor. So you just start typing AN and you will get the all possible ancestors option here for the element blog. Now click on this. So press enter. We have written the XPath for the common parent. And now we want to write the XPath for forum. So just inspect that forum and start typing here A, and this we want for forum. So here we have written the XPath for forum with respect to blog. Now if you can ask me the question that you want to write an XPath for platform with respect to blog, so I can just quickly finish this one. I can just quickly replace either forum to platform, or I can just delete this and inspect this docs. Let's say docs we have to write with respect to blog. Then here I type and there. So this is how you can write the XPath with respect to some other element. This is one example I've showed you. You can try practice it more, and there could be multiple ways. So basically it gives make your process literally fast. Imagine if you are writing this XPath, this kind of XPath here in Google Chrome DevTools or any browser DevTools, how means how much tedious it will be, how much time wasting it will be. Or some people used to write here like $X with that approach. Will it be? I mean, I can't imagine writing that kind, this relative kind of XPath here in console $X, because it will take a hell lot of time. Like again, you will go back here, see, okay, this is the value, come back here, then type, then go back, because one cannot remember all this, right? So this is the XPath which we have written here. Now let me paste it here, kept it here. So we have seen that how can we write the selectors fast. And now, so let me show you how can we write the CSS selectors quickly. So there could be like multiple ways to write a CSS selectors. I showed you guys. I told you like, and let me tell you, show you this way as well. So suppose we have to write a CSS selector for this element. Okay, so there could be multiple ways. If it has ID, we can directly type hashtag. So if ID will be there, this will directly come with along with the ID values, and you can see this. If it has class, so let me show you guys that how today developers write or automation engineers write CSS selector with class. They copy this class value. One second. They copy this class value, go to console, and trust me, people do it like this way. They paste this value here, put the cursor in the beginning, put the dot, and wherever there is a space in the class value, they remove this space by dot manually. And everybody does it this way, trust me. And if you have written, you might remember that you have done this way. And people does this way. They remove one by one. Imagine how much time it is taking. But now you need not to worry. You just type dot here and there you go. Press enter. So it's really quick. And if you want to write CSS selector in that formula, like you just type tag name and then attribute value, attribute is equal to attribute value. So it gives all possible options. I'm not sure you guys are aware about these dollar, star, cap functions, because most of the time we heard only equal functions. So this gives all those like end with value, contains value, start with value, equal values, all those possible options it gives, which helps you to learn. So this way we can write CSS selector, XPath with axis, XPath with like different kind of relative XPath. So with ancestor, child's parent, everything is possible, so that you can really quick you can write basically, and without making any mistakes. Now the misconception with Chrome DevTools. Why I'm saying the misconception with Chrome DevTools here is because what we have learned till date is because of whatever was available till date. When some concepts or something is not available, then we think that that is a standard. Let me tell you why. What is the actual reason behind saying this, that we all used to keep saying always that we should write our own XPath. In fact, I'm sure like many of you must be saying that we should write our own XPath. But what is the meaning of writing own XPath? Uh, let me see if something is breaking here. Chat. Okay, fine. So the meaning, we all say that we should write our own XPath, right? But nobody ever talked. I never heard that anybody talking. What is the meaning of writing our own XPath? So when we say write our own XPath, we basically saying to write here in Chrome DevTools. When we say that write our own XPath, it doesn't mean that you should write your own XPath here in Notepad. Does anybody mean that? No. Basically, we are saying we should write on our XPath here in using Chrome DevTools. So basically, use a tool to write your XPath, which is a Chrome DevTools. That's what we are saying by saying that we should write our own XPath. Now, what is the misconception we have learned till date, and why many a times we used to beginners and we all used to fail in interview by using Chrome DevTools? Let me show you. It is the very frequent asked question in interview: how many links on this page? I hope you all must have faced this or heard about it. How many links on this page? What we do, immediately we do /A here and see, okay, 81 links are there on this page. But actually there are not 81 links on this page. You see, it is also matching /A, which is not a link. This is basically string matching here. It is not a tag. It is not an anchor tag, which used to be a link. So the region here is, this is not a link. It is showing a link, but it's not a link tag. Anchor tag, it's not anchor tag. Let me take some different example over here. So you see here, this is not an anchor tag, but still it is showing that as a matching node here. Why? Because /A matching here. Because Chrome DevTools also works on search functionality. It is not designed just for XPath and selectors purpose. But we don't understand. We never, nobody ever tell us, nobody ever teach us that this is not just for verifying selector. We blindly say, we just say that we should write our own XPath. But we forgot to tell beginners and students that no, you should be careful when you are verifying your things here, because it sometimes match with the string. Suppose you have written a /A text is equal to something, let's say here you have written test, or let's say test project you have written over here. If somewhere in this DOM, if this string will match, then also it will show one matching node. But that doesn't mean that this is an XPath, right XPath you have written. So that is the problem, that you should be aware about that. Now we have written /A, it is showing 124, but actually there are not 124 links. If you verify this here in selector sub, it will tell you the correct number of links. There are 123 links on this page, and if you press enter by selecting this, it will show you all 123 links on this page. So this is the correct way to verify, but we have learned till date that this is there are these many links. If you try here, it will show you there are actually 55 links on this page. Rest what it is showing is basically because that is a string matching over there in this page. And if you want to verify a CSS selector with tag name, here it is showing correct. If you match here, just type A, it will show you n number of things, because wherever A will be written, it will find that matching node. So this is absolutely wrong, but we considered it as a standard, and that is the reason many of us learned so many wrong things and the misconception it is. Then there's a misconception about SVG element. Like if you inspect this kind of element here, you see this is an SVG element. If you right click and copy this XPath here and you paste it here in Chrome DevTools, you see that it is showing 0 of 0. This is not the right pattern actually for SVG element XPath. This is a wrong pattern. I'm not sure how many of you are aware about the SVG XPath pattern. You paste it here, selectors will help you that to learn about it, that this is a invalid SVG XPath format. So you learn from here that, okay, so your eyes will blink that, okay, this is a wrong format. Now, if you delete this and start typing, it will give you the, help you with the right format of SVG. So this is the right pattern of SVG. And in fact, like if you see here that it gives you the right value of SVG XPath. You see, this is the right pattern, local name, local name is equal to SVG. And if you inspect child element, then it gives you the right XPath pattern for child SVG as well. So all this is we are learning from with the help of selector sub. It was never possible before because nothing was available. So we thought like, okay, this is the correct thing. And we thought like, okay, this is the right. And because of that, we all were like always doing wrong things for SVG, finding links through this dev tools. And trust me, like I did a survey recently on LinkedIn, almost 80% people has given the wrong answer for SVG XPath pattern. Because why? Region, because we have written our own XPath using Chrome DevTools and we always learn this pattern and we didn't know that what is the right pattern for this. Shadow. Talking about shadow, it never possible to write selectors or verify selectors for shadow DOM elements. Let me show you how. If you inspect, many of you might not be aware about what is shadow DOM. So let me tell you, shadow DOM is basically DOM inside DOM. And it exists, it doesn't exist without a DOM. So definitions are a lot and it is introduced for safety purpose. So this element, if you inspect this element, what you will do, like after inspecting, immediately you will start writing an XPath for this element, right? /input or ID is there. So either you will write ID is equal to input. This is the way. I'm sure like you all will do that. But you see it is showing 0 of 0. Then you must be scratching your head that why it is showing 0 of 0, right? In that case, you don't know, like if you are a beginner or someone new to the DOM, to the web elements, it will be like until unless you will not take help from some expert, then you won't be able to understand why it is showing 0 of 0. Or what you will do, you will right click, copy the value, copy XPath and paste it here. It is giving still 0 of 0. You will try something else, then copy selector, let's say, and paste it here. Still 0 of 0. So basically it will be like help for the beginners. It is so much time wasting and they would never be able to learn about such things through Chrome DevTools or through any of the media platform, because nobody can tell that this is inside Shadow DOM until unless you will not take help of any expert near you. So who can help you, and trust me, there is no possible way to verify such selectors for Shadow DOM element. There is nothing was there. But now with the help of Selectors Hub, you just open Selectors Hub. It will help you with everything. It tells you that this element is inside Shadow DOM. And here is the CSS selector. And it gives you the information that this element is inside Shadow DOM. And for such element, XPath is not possible. XPath won't support. So now we learned that this element is inside Shadow DOM. This CSS selector. And new thing we learned that Shadow DOM doesn't support XPath. Or you can say XPath doesn't support Shadow DOM. And here you would be able to verify your CSS selectors as well for Shadow DOM elements. You see, any element you inspect, you would be able to verify like this. And if you try to write XPath here, it will tell you that this element XPath doesn't support Shadow DOM because this element is inside Shadow DOM. So we are able to verify selectors for Shadow DOM. We are able to learn about it. We are able to verify about it. Imagine like when this was not there, selector sub was not there, it was like nightmare. People used to write some XPath, then they use it in their script, work or not work, they don't know. And in fact, many times they end up with the like giving up. Okay, we cannot write the test case for this. And many does this. How to write selectors for Shadow DOM? So we have seen that XPath we cannot write. We can write only CSS selector or selectors for Shadow DOM element. We have learned about SVG element, how to write XPath for SVG and SVG XPath element. iframe and frame. Yes, selector sub supports iframe and frame as well. So if any element is inside iframe, you inspect that element, it will show you, it will give you the XPath for the iframe as well as the XPath for the all possible selectors for the inspected element. So if you see here, it tells you that this element is inside XPath, inside iframe. It gives the selectors and relative XPath for the inspected element, this element, along with the XPath for the iframe inside which this element. So you see that this is the iframe here. For that, it has given the XPath, and this is the XPath for the inspected element. This is the XPath. So how much time it has saved for you? If you would have done it manually, first you have written XPath for this, you would have executed the script, then the script failed, then you will think why it is failing, then you will scroll up and then you will find it is inside iframe, then you will write XPath for iframe. In whole process, at least 20 to 30 minutes you will waste. But now just by single click, you got everything here. XPath for element, XPath for iframe. Quickly you can do it in like just hardly 30 seconds, you can finish everything in place of 30 minutes. So that is the power selector sub gives you to save time. Can someone tell me what's wrong in my selector? This is the most innovative thing in selector sub and most lovable feature. This is my favorite feature in selector sub. Like suppose here, it is really helpful while debugging script and all. So let me show you. Suppose we are debugging our script and we suppose for this element XPath is breaking. What you will do, you will copy that value and paste it here in select DevTools, and you see, okay, it is not showing anything. What you think like this could be wrong, but if you paste same thing here in selector sub, it will immediately tells you that there is something missing. Close square bracket is missing. You can fix that, right? And it tells you the information what is missing, what is not missing over there. So it is really helpful that you can fix it here, right? Now you must be thinking why it was giving before 0 and now it is 1, because that time we were inside iframe. So whenever you have to verify any element which is outside iframe, you will have to switch back to inspect any element which is outside iframe, and then you can verify your XPath. So this is similar concept as in Selenium. So here you see that normal thing, if something is missing in your XPath, selectors will give you that particular information, that close square bracket is missing or some single quote by mistake if you have not written. So it gives you the information. If you're writing something, doing something wrong, it will tell you that add tag name after /. If somebody asks you like, is this right pattern, it will tell you that after close square bracket only / and this what is allowed. So it is basically helping you a lot to learn about selectors, about writing XPath, which were never possible before. About security, yes, it is the most secure plugin. It doesn't save any user data. It runs only on your local. Does it slow down your browser? No, not at all. It doesn't slow down your browser. It is almost like 2 to 3 times smaller in the size compared to other plugins. I would really request you guys, please support Selector Sub, share it with your friends and community so that it reach to the most people, and they can save a lot of time. It's absolutely free. And another information I would like to share with you guys, that I have stopped development and support on CrowPath. So you might not be seeing any update or anything from me on that. So, and you can compare selectors of with any other tool out there. You will always find this, the kind of relative CSS selector, relative XPath it is giving, and all possible selectors it is giving. It saves a huge amount of time for you. And there are n number of features, like if you want to generate XPath with any particular attribute, anything like you doesn't want with title, so you can pass any attribute here. If you want to generate any XPath with any of your particular attribute, so those values you can pass it here like this. Let's say for this element you want to generate XPath with not with ID, you uncheck the ID, it will generate with something else. It gives you the information whether this is dynamic or not. If you want some attribute, let's say you want with item scope, yeah, that you can pass it here. So right now it is giving XPath only like this. Suppose you want the XPath with the command as well, so what you can turn it on from here. You can pass the command. Let's say in your editor you're writing like this again and again, driver.find element, right? You don't want to type this complete command, you paste that command here, replace this XPath with XPath value and press enter. You see that you are getting the complete command now. You can copy and paste it here, so you need not to type that command. You inspect any element, you will be getting that complete command. Here you click, you paste. So that's amazing. You need not to copy, just click on this copy icon. You can click anywhere to copy the value. You compare the CSS selector, you can keep it off as well, like you doesn't want to see any of these, you can keep it off. Whenever you want, you can turn it on, and these all values will be saved in your local. So you need not to worry that you need not to think that every time you will have to set this command. And this command is could be anything, it is not just for Selenium. It could be anything, like many people write like this, so it could be anything. You just press enter, it will take that value and it will set everything. It is smart enough. And you can keep it off, you can keep UI as simple as you want. You just want in editor mode, you can keep it off. You want editor and generator mode, both you can be with that. So a lot of amazing features are there which can save tremendous amount of time for you. This is absolutely free, no license required. Be a patron of Selectors Hub, it will be really helpful. I'm not working for any company, by the way. I just working for community full time for free, and you guys are supporting, the whole community is supporting, and you all are my motivation to work really hard, and I'm working on this day and night. Here are some of the Selectors Hub achievement. Almost like in 100 countries, more than 100 countries it is being used. All the trainers giving training on all the platform, Udemy, everywhere. And this all happened in just within 1 month of launch. Huge thanks to all the Selectors Hub sponsors, supporters. Now you must be thinking like how to install. It's very simple, just single click installation. Go to selectorshub.com. For whichever browser you want, you can install it, and with the similar functionality it is available for all the browsers. So here if you go and check, so Chrome, Firefox, Edge, whichever browser you want, you click on this, it will take you to the store, and whichever browser, I have already added it, so you just have to click on add to Chrome. That's all. If you need any help, do check out these footer links here in Selectors Hub. There are more. If this is really amazing feature, like if you doesn't want to write or open Selectors Hub tab again and again, what you do, you can right click and copy the selector value from here, and here you can get all the possible selector. This is again customizable. Right click, like you want relative CSS selector, JS path, absolute XPath, everything. You can keep it on or you can keep it off as well. So now if you right click and you see that all the options you are getting here, this is where it is really important. It is really important in case of dynamic elements like drop down values, because sometimes we are not able to inspect the drop down values. So here if you see that these drop down, like washing machine, if you have to write XPath for this element, washing machine, let's say here, this kind of drop down which used to disappear from the DOM, and in Chrome you are not able to inspect those drop down. So what you do, so in that case it is really helpful, because this is like impossible scenario for which you can write the XPath. You see that you won't be able to find that element in the DOM. So here you right click and copy relative XPath. Let me show you this, what value we have copied from there. Now you see here it is showing 0 matching node. Why? Because that element has disappeared from the DOM, but when you hover on it appears, right? Now if you press enter, it will show you one matching node. but if remove hover, it will show zero matching node. So this is like something same as you do in Selenium, like first you hover on that element, then you click on that element. Same here, when that element will appear in the DOM, then you will be able to do that. So this right click functionality helps you a lot and saves a lot of time. This is the region, some of the region that uh, developers and automation engineers call selectors of lifesaver innovation. And now time for the quiz winners of today. Rohit Baheti, many congratulations. Kunj Vigara and Deepen Shah, many congratulations to all of you. These are the quiz winners for today, and huge round of applause for all of them. And you all did it really well. So I will explain the quiz what we had yesterday. Before that, let me take the questions so far. You have put it here. Just a second. Can you please? If we can use normalized space to remove in space. Yes, exactly what this is what selector sub does. We can use following siblings. Definitely we can use. Thank you. What is the name of it and how can we open? So I hope now you must have got it. Like after adding selector sub in your browser, I would request you restart your browser or whatever tab you have opened. Uh, Please refresh them. When you will open select dev tools, here on the left side you will find the elements tab. On the right side there will be a couple of tabs and you might not be able to see dev selector sub. So selector sub will be the last tab here. So better I would suggest you to expand this one. So you will see always selector sub here. And at any point of time you face that it is not available or something, I would really recommend you to watch the video tutorial here for the selector sub detailed video tutorial, because I might not be explain all the features in detail here in this small demo. So because there are n number of features, like no limit, as much as you will explore you would fall in love with this tool, right? So also this logo here on the toolbar you might not be able to see here, because by default in Chrome now you see there is this extension icon will be there and it will be hidden from here. So you will have to make it pin to toolbar by default this way. Then you would be able to see it here. So, thank you all. What is the name of it and how can we open? In Google Chrome extension selector sub. Yes, available for all the browsers, and it is available for the with the same functionality. So you need not to worry like you have learned about learn it in Chrome, then how about in Firefox? So in Firefox as well it will be with the same functionality, and you can add it there. So you see that all the functionality will be available here as well on Firefox as well with the same features. And you can anytime you can compare this one with any of the tool out there, like what kind of selectors you get, selectors value, like let's say if you have to compare with CrowPath, what value you get from CrowPath for any element which you inspect from here. So you see the kind of XPath you will get from CrowPath and the kind of XPath you got CSS selector and XPath you will get from selector sub, which it is no comparison with any other tool out there. So you can, I mean, there's no comparison what kind of amazing relative XPath and the CSS selector you get. Relative CSS selector, everybody wants to use the CSS selector because they are fast than XPath. So that is the reason it has introduced relative CSS selector in selector sub. Yes, but again, Jaydeep, it works on console as well. But how many times you will go back and forth in console to check the value of like what is the attribute value there? Just try to write one XPath in console, relative XPath, and then you will understand what is the value in console, writing in console and in selector sub. Thank you, Salis, for your kind word. Can you send me the recording if any question in future? Sure, you can reach out to me anytime, guys. There's a, if you check out footer links, there is a Slack link, so you can join me on Slack here. And you can reach out to me anytime on any of the social media platform. Congratulations. How to create XPath for applicable like Angular? Yes, it works on Angular, and for all kinds of application, there's no dependency. Like Flipkart is on React, so yes, it work on React. Angular, yes, it work on Angular as well. So this is on Angular website. So if you just open this any of, I mean, it doesn't matter on what technology it is, your website is developed. If it is on if it has DOM available and you are able to write selectors for your element manually, you it will selector should support. If it doesn't support, you can feel free to reach out to me, and I'm here to help you guys. React.js app where we don't have very common class name and ID. Selectors will try to make it possible. Means we'll try all the ways to write the unique selectors, and it also supports the indexes as well. If any times you feel that nothing is working, like in this case, let's say you are writing an XPath for such kind of element and you didn't find anything unique here. Let's say this one, and there's no class or nothing ID is there, right? So in that case, it also support the indexes as well. You just put your cursor in the beginning, open parenthesis, and here you will get the XPath with indexes as well, and you can write the unique XPath. This is answers to Aves Gaju. How to write own XPath in case of dynamic locators, washing machine. So yes, you can write the selectors for CSS selectors with this in this kind of patterns as well. Like you want to write like this way, and then like this you want to write, it will give you the child elements as well for CSS as well. Share with the recording, definitely you will get the recording. Thank you. Yes, this will be right now you can copy the values, Malik, and but exporting feature will be available soon. I'm doing the testing very soon. This export feature will be available for multiple elements. This idea came, Jaideep. Yes, so idea about this tool came because most of the time it was always said that we should not write, we should not use any XPath tool, right? So it was when I invented and created CrowPath, it was many times I got this question that we should not use XPath tool, and because when we will forget the writing skill, XPath writing skills, and copying XPath is not good from any tool. So it was always criticized. So that's where I thought like what are the challenges there, what are the misconception, and at the same time I found like people are learning wrong things from Chrome by using Chrome dev tools, but blindly everybody is saying like no, we should write our own XPath. In fact, like I found today as well people saying that we should write and many trainers suggest that we should write our own XPath, but nobody ever explained that what is the meaning of we should write our own XPath. And we are learning wrong things many times by doing this way. So that's where I thought like, okay, I should create something, we should innovate something in for selector which will help people to learn as well as save the time at the same time. So from there, and it was a it is something long journey on that, how selectors have got created. Maybe sometime else I will explain about it. And yeah, so that was the basic idea behind it, like about selector sub. That was the one idea behind it, like why I got this idea that that we should write our own XPath but in a smart way which can help to learn as well. Now let me open this quiz for today. Salis, could you just ping me that link on the chat here, quiz link?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Just
because I
give me.
have that. That is
Yeah,
in
give me a
WhatsApp.
minute. Give me a minute.